Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Rippin Reptile Podcast.
It is number one. It's taken me a long time to convince Ollie to do this. Probably 3 or 4 months. So we've obviously been doing the channel Predatory Exotics for 7 or 8 months now.
Yeah, we're not far off of a year. To be fair.
It's coming close to a year, and we're gonna have to do something special. But as for now, I've convinced him to do the podcast. This is episode 1. The title of the episode is going to be where we started and where we're going. So you get to know a little bit of history about us, where we started with our reptile journey, and where we're planning on taking Predatory Exotics in the future.
Yeah. The past couple months has been not the best, to be fair.
Yeah, we've obviously, with the whole UK lockdown and everything, we started our channel, 2-3 weeks before the first lockdown?
Yeah, and now we're in stage 2. We're in our second one.
Yeah, the second lockdown is a bit annoying, so we haven't got as many reptiles as we're sort of looking at. We've expanded the collection a little bit. Going to expand it a little bit more in the future.
That's kind of what we're going to be talking about today.
But as for the podcast, we've got a little bet going.
We do have a little bet going on how well it will do. We will update you with that.
So you need to watch it.
Okay. But yeah, so we're just going to kind of talk to you guys. The podcast is going to be a bit more of giving you kind of behind the scenes, more about just us talking, and you kind of get more of a raw, natural us as opposed to some kind of scripted or, entertaining for the video. It's just going to be us talking.
So yeah, this episode obviously is where we started. So I've had a love for reptiles my whole life. I started with animals. I had a cat, guinea pigs, rabbits and stuff as a kid. But then I knew I wanted reptiles. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I had animals growing up. I had a hamster, like a rabbit, but it was always like a family pet. It wasn't ever mine. And then I don't know if you guys know, I think we briefly mentioned it in a couple of videos. I lived in Canada. And when we were out there, my sister wanted a rabbit, and of course, me being like a child, I was only like 14, 15. I was like, well, I want a pet as well, I want to get a pet. So she was getting a rabbit, and I was like, I don't know what to get, but I wanted something that was low maintenance and kind of more of a show pet, display pet, because I was at school, so I wasn't going to be with it all the time. And I went into the shop and I spoke to the guy, and I remember talking to him, and I was like, what's some low maintenance, easy first pets? Also that I could afford because I was paying for it. My sister was paying for hers, so I had to pay for this as well. And he came across with a leopard gecko, and that is what I finally decided. His name was George, and I owned him for about 4 years until I moved back to England, and I had to sadly give him away because I couldn't bring him over. I actually gave him away to a place that was a breeder. So he went to live with about 5 different females. Nice. So
he's living his best life.
He went to become a baller.
And he was was he a normal leopard gecko? Or?
Yeah, it was run of the mill leopard gecko. I have a few pictures. It's kind of annoying actually. One of my phones broke and it had all the pictures of him on there. So I've only got the couple that were on Facebook.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, what?
Yeah, sure. So I did have a leopard gecko. Was my first solo pet.
Did you name it or no?
So yeah, Gary the gecko.
Gary
the gecko. That was his full name, Gary the gecko. So I got him from local pet shop around the corner. Literally, it was for my birthday when maybe 11 or 12.
Oh, you started quite young then.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't even my first. This was my first solo one that I had to look after. It was my solo responsibility and stuff. So we went to the pet shop for my birthday. Got a X display tank.
Okay, yeah.
So literally, it was like 40 quid. Came with the UVB lighting, the heat mat, and then I just bought the substrate and all the accessories and stuff. And what's funny was actually there was 2 leopard geckos in the tank, and I was like, oh, I like this one because it had a cool pattern and stuff. He picked it up and it was just literally, it was squealing like a pig, and he picked it up and he was like, yeah, we'll calm down, but you've got to handle it. And then obviously the other one, Gary the gecko, was calmer, so I got that one. But it turned out Gary the gecko was a female anyway.
Oh, see, this is the thing, is I was I mean, I don't know why I was slightly sexist in that sense. There were two geckos that I was choosing from, and one looked awesome. And for some reason, I just remember he was like, "That's a female." I was like, "Nah, I want a male." I was like, "I want a guy," and so I chose the other one because I think the first one was like almost it had some albino in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was
yeah. When
pretty cool.
I got it, like they were all normals. Obviously, it was a small pet shop, so that there wasn't a lot of choice. Whereas now the pet shops we go into, we see some pretty crazy stuff. Like
Yeah, I definitely looking back at it, I wasn't probably the most prepared.
yeah, like your first reptile, you sort of sometimes you don't really know everything. You can do the research and stuff, but my parents weren't into reptiles. But obviously, I said my first reptile was a gecko, but my first ever reptile was Norris, the tortoise we have.
Yeah.
And that was more of like a family thing. Like I had pets all my life, and then I moved into reptiles. But that's quite a long story as well. So
Yeah, definitely. Like, because I remember, like, I definitely wasn't probably the most prepared. Like, I had a top open slide tank
okay.
for the leopard gecko, and I definitely probably could have set it up better.
No, I had a like a 2-foot wooden one with sliding, a bit like Loki's.
Oh, see, mine was glass. Yeah, I didn't.
Mine was wood, heat mat on the bottom. All the electrics were already fitted because it was the X-Display one, so it was nice and ready to go. And this was when it was T8 lighting, not T5.
Oh, okay.
So it's slightly older lighting.
How long did you keep him for, or her?
It was like 9 or 10 years.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah, quite long. Yeah.
Like I don't know, like she died one day. She's buried in my next neighbour's backyard garden.
Why your next door neighbour?
I don't know. We had like a little funeral.
You don't know.
We don't have any grass at our house, so next door we just buried it in their garden.
Did they know?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went round.
You just didn't go around when they were out.
I think it's just an excuse for them to have a drink, to be honest. They went round, had a couple beers.
Poor little Tom in the corner.
buried the gecko in like a matchbox in their garden.
Oh, bless.
Rip Gary the gecko. But yeah, like the first one I got was Norris the tortoise. And basically with him, he lived at Drusilla's zoo for a while. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're down towards our way, you kind of know that zoo. Everyone around here knows that zoo.
It's not a big zoo, but it's like the only zoo you can go to in sort of...
When growing up here, that's the zoo you
go to that zoo. Like, I was a gold member at that zoo as a kid. Like, I'd literally go in, flash my gold membership card. You get to do everything, because my parents would take me there every weekend. But they have like a small reptile section. I haven't been there in ages, but they have a small reptile section. And basically my parents' friends was a police officer, and he had like a license from immigration to take in tortoises.
Okay.
So his back garden was like, he had sheds with like baby tortoises in, and then he had a full dog shed for like a sulcata tortoise.
Oh damn! Okay, so he was pretty.
He was into it, and then his son became a zookeeper at Drusilla's.
Yeah.
So he would sort of give the baby ones to his son at Drusilla's for them to display, but they only really had room for the baby ones. And then once they got bigger, they would give him, like, he'd give it back to his dad.
This was the baby sulcatas?
No, this is like just normal tortoises.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So obviously the baby went to Drusilla's, spent time at Drusilla's, and then came back to his dad's house. And that's when my parents obviously knew him and like, oh, we want a tortoise, because like sort of tortoise is a friendly reptile, even though Norris is. If you've watched our videos, he isn't the friendliest tortoise. But yeah, that's how he came. Like, I got him from Drusilla's, so he spent like a good few years at Drusilla's. Now he's like 20 years old, so
that's mad to think that.
He's not knocking on a bit, but he's gonna live to like gone 100. So
yeah, that is mad. But yeah, after all that, like, what? Fast forward like 5 years, I think.
So yeah, after I got tortoise, the gecko. What else did I get? I had like bumblebee poison dart frogs. I went straight in, got like full bioactive setup. I got 3 bumblebee dart frogs from Emsworth, so I had to drive like a couple hours down there, which was like quite a long time, and like transporting amphibians is stressful.
Yeah,
because amphibians are a bit more sensitive to the heat and stuff. So if you're on a hot car, I think it was in the summer, it was like August, and I was like, oh, they're gonna just cook in this car for 2 hours. So yeah, I had to sort of speed back from Emsworth to get them home, and I had them for sort of 4 or 5 years. Like, I don't think they live a lot shorter than the Dendrobates tinctorius, the bigger dart frogs. These are the Dendrobates leucomelas. And I had 3, and what's quite cool about them is they all had different patterns on their back. So they're like bumblebee, black and yellow.
So you could tell them apart quite easily.
Yeah, so like one had like a full stripe round, one had like a half stripe, and then one had like a full split in the middle.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures that you've shown me, but it would have been cool to see them in person.
And like I never saw any of that. You can get the netted ones now.
Okay.
That are like, instead of being banded or have bands with slight dots.
Yeah.
Which mine were. You can get netted, which are fully dotted.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty cool.
That would be sick. Yeah, it's definitely something I think we'll keep again in the future.
So I did that, and then I got quite into... Obviously, it's taken a while. I live at home with my mum and dad, so it took a while for them to convince them on the reptile.
Oh, yeah.
It's both
I know that struggle.
a situation that we share, but I'm sort of ahead of you on that journey.
You are a bit ahead. To be fair, there have been some recent... I've got a lot more now than I would have pictured I would have had, and there is discussion of more as well, which is good.
That's why I got quite into bugs, because bugs are sort of small tanks, like you can just buy it when they're on holiday and not tell them.
Like the Mansons, you can get away with them quite easily.
That used to be my go-to trick. They'd go on holiday and there'd be a new animal when they came back, because it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it's easier to ask them for permission. So I got a few different scorpions. I think the first one I got was a I can't remember if I got a desert hairy, and I got a Tanzanian red claw.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember which one I got first, but the desert hairy was cool. I kept both in the Habosphere that we've got at one point.
Yeah.
And then I kept both in like an Exoterra long faunarium. But the Habosphere was good for them, and they could dig and stuff. And then I made a bioactive one for the Tanzanian red claw.
Oh, okay.
But then I never saw it again. I made the enclosure too good.
Literally just...
I made it so good that I never saw it. It had like fully planted, bioactive, drainage layer, everything. Had like a nice sort of cork bark burrow.
Yeah.
It went in there and never saw it.
Oh.
But the desert hairy is cool. I'd get one of them again.
And what, you got these when they were away?
Yes.
Oh, I would have been crucified. I would have
died
that night.
I bought it, got them.
How did they react though?
That's why I went for bugs. Like, bugs are easier.
But then you didn't just go for any bug. You went for scorpions.
I went for scorpion. I got both of them from the same reptile shop I got my gecko from, because this was before I sort of started exploring.
How old were you at this point?
Well, my parents were going away, so I would have been 18.
Yeah, so you were driving at this point because you had to go and get the thing. So
yeah, so I got them too, and then I got some sun beetles from Purple Pet Centre.
Yeah,
which were quite cool. Because I was thinking, if I breed them, get grubs, and then I can get the grubs, get more beetles. But that never happened. I saw them breeding, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
which was a bit annoying. But after that, I don't know what I got.
See, through the whole stage of them doing all this, I literally didn't own any pets.
Yeah.
I had no pets. I think at this point, because this must have been what year was this that you were doing all this?
Well, I had the dart frogs while I was at work.
Okay.
So I've been working where I work for 5 years.
Yeah.
We'll get onto the story about how we met in a bit. So yeah, I had them a good 4 or 5 years, because I went on holiday, and then I waited till I come back. I went to Canada and drove down to New York from Canada.
So that's mad, because you were real close to me at that point, which was
we'll do a separate podcast about Canada, because our friends live in Canada, and I've been there 5 times for a good 2 weeks each time in Ottawa, Ontario. But then I've also been to Toronto and gone to Niagara Falls and stuff.
Literally a 20-minute, half an hour drive from where I was.
Literally ridiculous. And like, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. Like,
it's weird to think how close we were at some points, especially like being in Eastbourne as well, because I grew up here.
Yeah.
Moved to Canada, and of course, if you've been here this whole time,
Yeah,
chance
like,
of us like walking
I've
past
been
each
like
other.
up the CN Tower and stuff.
Yeah.
Done the glass floor and
That's crazy to
Went
think.
to Niagara and then. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. Yeah. So throughout the whole of that time, I just kept my leopard gecko until I moved back to England. Another whole story there. And I was here for about 3 years, two years probably. I started uni, dropped out of uni, didn't continue that, and then of course dropping out of uni, Mum's like, you got to get a job. If you're staying here, you got to get a job. So I went to work for a supermarket. I'm not gonna throw out names there. Wasn't too happy there, so I left that after a couple of months, and then the current place we work was advertising, which we're also not gonna mention where we work, and I started there, and they were offering a part-time job. Working out the back, and you were in charge of out the back, so I started there.
Just before that, like, I didn't even know, like, you dropped out of uni and started work. Like, we had the same thing. I went to Southampton uni, and this is before, like, I realised that you can actually do something in a career with reptiles, so I'd sort of written it off. Like all the time through school, I was like, I want to be a zookeeper. Like, I went to Drusilla's every weekend, so I want to be a zookeeper. And then through school, they were like, nah, you're too clever to be a zookeeper.
Yeah.
Like, and then they forced me to go down, like, I wanted to go to Plumpton College. I don't know if you know.
I don't know much about it.
It's like,
no.
I went there, and they've basically got, like, a...
Just one sec, we are a bit busy.
I just want to say, I'm going out.
Okay.
I'm leaving the tumble dryer on because you're staying in, right?
Yeah, we'll be here.
Okay, but if you do go out, though, could you switch it off?
Yeah, no worries.
All right, Dan.
Alright. So yeah, back to where we were.
What were we saying?
You wanted to go to
So Plumpton College has got, like, a massive reptile room.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So, literally, like, insane. Like, I went there for a 1 day open day. So they've got all outside bits, like owls and stuff like that. Inside they've got massive, like, all glass tanks, exoterra type thing. You can go there and you do, like, animal management and stuff.
Okay.
But basically, like, my school put me off it, got me to go do my A-levels and stuff, and then it was like, oh, you got to go to uni and stuff, and I did geology, because I was like,
okay.
Like obviously I was interested in science and nature and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, geology's got the money, and now I realise it's not about the money. Like,
yeah,
you've got to be happy what you're doing. If you're just chasing the money for that 60k a year job, drilling oil, what's the point? Like,
it's the same. Like, I was going down the same thing. I did throughout the whole of my high school programming. I was programming, doing software, video game design, all of that, and that's what I went to uni for. And then I just suddenly was like doing it so much, I was like, I'm not enjoying it. I was like, I'm just not enjoying it.
But at least yours has helped. Because obviously, if you don't know, Ollie is the tech guy.
Yeah.
He is the guy with the knowledge of how to edit and got the microphone and all the camera and stuff. Like, that's how we sort of, like, going back to how we met and stuff. We met at our workplace.
Yeah.
And I was working out the back and stuff, and then he started. He says to this day that I wasn't very friendly.
All right, so I'm going to
detest
take
that
over.
fact.
I'm going to take over from this part. I started there, and I hadn't many friends because I just moved back from Canada. And when you move back from Canada and you're not in actual school, you don't meet friends very easily because you're not. And of course, I wasn't going to uni anymore. The only time you would meet people is when you went out drinking or something, and I don't drink, so I had no way of meeting people. I was like, okay, work's where I'm gonna meet people. So I started there, and I met Tom, and he didn't say much, didn't really say a lot. So I was like, okay, but you know when you get that kind of sense of you will be friends with this person, I don't know why I got that sense.
That's the thing. I don't understand, because from my point of view, I'm a quiet person in life. Unless I'm talking about reptiles. Like, that's how you talk to me.
On camera, it's different.
So yeah, in life, I'm quite a quiet person. So to me, it felt like I was asking him loads of questions because obviously I'd been to Canada loads, and when I knew he lived in Canada, I was asking him questions about like his stuff in Canada and like reptile things. Even then, I was talking to you about like little raised
'cause
reptiles.
starting off, I was asking about stuff I was interested in. So I was going through video games, I was going through, you know, entertainment, movies. I'm into all that kind of stuff. None of this was clicking. You were not answering to any of this. You'd give me one-word answers. And then one day I mentioned about like have you owned any pets or anything?
Yeah.
And that's when it kick-started into reptiles. And suddenly I was like, I've owned a reptile.
Yeah.
You know, this is the thing we can connect through. And after that point, it was a lot of like, we'd actually chat as like friends and you'd be teaching me about reptiles and stuff like that. Because my reptile knowledge wasn't that great when we first started.
Yeah.
It was quite narrowed. You know, I knew the bearded dragon, snakes, leopard geckos. I didn't know about all the other kind of species that we've interacted with and, you know, made videos on now. And that's kind of how it started, is we kicked off through the reptile.
See, I don't remember how like it went from there. I don't remember where it went from you starting and sort of talking to me, trying to like befriend me with my reptiles, and then going from you being like, oh, we should start a reptile channel.
I kind of remember it. I remember like it was so hard to get you to meet up outside of work. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
It took forever, and then eventually
It must have been a reptile shop that we went to. I must have been like, let's go to this. Because I used to go with my other friend, and like he couldn't keep reptiles, so it was like, oh, should we go to this reptile shop? And we just go to look around, and then like eventually I'd convince my mum to get me something.
Yeah.
But I must have been like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
we
going to this reptile shop.
definitely went to a pet shop, and I'm more than likely it was Purple Pet.
Yeah, Purple Pet. Or
And
it might have been Hastings.
I think on that day, I think you like said, "Oh, like, do you want to go back to mine and I'll show you like what kind of the animals I have?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
And that's when I knew it like kind of it broken that barrier of we're just work friends to we're actually friends. And then at least what I remember is we talked for like weeks after that, months after that, because like I was kind of progressing into work. I was only a part-time person at that point, and I was working my way up to someone who actually has some kind of in charge role.
Yeah, I'd been there like 4 years, so.
So I was still just trying to, because at that point I had nothing that I was going for in my career. So I was like, I've got to build my career here. I've got to get something on my resume. And then I think at one point, I spoke to you about what you wanted to do in the future and kind of what your goal was. And then when you were talking to me about it, I was like, damn, that would be...
Because I've always wanted
cool.
to do like always wanted to have a reptile zoo and stuff, but I knew that probably what was going to be hard to do. And I thought, if I breed reptiles and stuff, like breeding reptiles doesn't make you that much money. Like it's more of like a hobby type thing.
Yeah.
But then you came at it with the...
Because I had, and you could probably find some of it still on YouTube. I've tried YouTube a couple of times through different aspects of gaming and, vlog stars, other kind of stuff. None of it really took off. I think more because I didn't put enough effort into it. Because it's hard to do it when you're alone, because there's no one really motivating you to keep going. And so I knew about YouTube, and I uploaded videos for like my mates to watch and stuff like that, just for a bit of fun. And then I remember talking to you, and I was like, you could make like a channel on YouTube.
So I'm pretty sure we did it same day. Like you said, do you want to do it? And then we just made a channel.
Yeah, because I owned a camera already. Like nothing compared to what we've got now. But I owned a camera already, and I was like, yeah, we could just set up a camera, record it and upload it and see where it goes. And then I remember we were thinking for a name for a while, and I came to you with a list of names.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what the other ones on that list were, because I do not remember.
Oh, I don't know.
That list is gone. But one of them was Predatory Exotics, and I remember you were like, yeah, I like that one. I was like, okay, so I went home that night and made the channel, and then I think the next day you came around, and we recorded.
So you came up with the logo and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how we came up with the logo.
I think we just sketched it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Then we paid some guy on Fiverr to make it for us. And
Like
then-
he's the guy that's doing the same art for this one.
No, this
Oh,
is
it's a different guy.
The original guy we used was a different guy to the one we used for like...
Oh, we've got we've got the boys.
Other hoodies, yeah. He is now the one we're in contact with and has made the thumbnail for this podcast video as well. A really great guy, and I'll link him down below as well for this video. But yeah, I remember you coming around and we had nothing. Like, I didn't have any animals at that point, so it was like, that was quite difficult for me because I was like not really bringing much. What I could bring was the tech, was the making the YouTube, and we recorded our first ever video about what Predatory Exotics was going to be, and this was before lockdown as well.
Yeah, it was what, like, I think I looked the other day, it was like March we started.
Just before the lockdown, and watching it, and we had like all these aspirations, and we were going to do all this, do all that.
Like, in our first one, the best moment, if you go find that video, it's what, 3 minutes long?
Yeah, it's not, it's literally
we're literally like, we're going to the Doncaster Reptile show,
and that went
and it's been cancelled 4 times.
Top-sided.
Well, technically 5 times, because they rebooked one of them. They rebooked one for like August in between another 2 shows, and then they cancelled that again, and then they were supposed to do one this month. So
we will eventually get them.
Well, I'm hoping. I think they start again in April.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and get time off work to go to these shows, because
there is 4 a year as well. So.
It's one thing I'm looking forward to the most, because I've been watching videos on YouTube of other people going to places, and the reptile shows just look awesome.
Yeah.
Like, whether we buy something or not, it's just
because for us it's with the opposite end of the country. Like, if it was closer, it'd be better, but it's like a 6-hour drive. For us.
We are in the south.
Like, there's an invertebrate show that I think's at the Brighton Arena.
Oh, okay.
Which is easy for us. It's like half hour for us to get to, which is nice.
It's just waiting.
But it is
COVID.
And that is, I think it's because that goes around the country. Pretty sure the one at Brighton is November, so we're gonna have to wait a year for that one.
Yeah. So probably most likely going to Doncaster.
Doncaster, and then there isn't any other reptile shows, is there?
Not really. We'd have to get out of the country to go to other ones.
I think
like Ham and
they're trying to set one up in the southeast.
That would be cool. That would be a cool thing, because of course, through Predatory Exotics, the amount of people we've met who are in the southeast, that are interested, or breeders, or people on Instagram we talk to. There is quite a few down here.
Like some of the reptile, like we've been to like KBN Reptiles and stuff, and
that's the furthest.
That's obviously that's like a 3-hour journey straight up, and then it's another 3 hours to get to Doncaster. Like,
that is long traveling that far. Like, when you get there, it's great, but then it's suddenly like
and then we've got to like sort of organise it. So at work we've got to get the same time off. Probably go there on the Saturday, stay overnight. On the Sunday we go to the show, and then obviously if we buy something, we've got to come back on that Sunday evening.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is all the stuff that we do and we record, we have to complete it all in a day. We don't get any more time than a day to do it. That's why we travel up there 3 hours, travel back 3 hours, all in one day. Whereas
when we went to Coventry, that was a long day.
That was a long day. It was so much fun. It was a great experience, but we couldn't stay because we had work the next day, and with Doncaster we'd have to get time off to go and actually like complete it. But yeah, so I didn't. Yeah, back to what we were saying. I didn't have any reptiles at that point. And then my first one happened to be a bearded dragon, and I don't know how I got away with it, but I brought home the tank. And then I don't think my parents are quite ready for me to bring home that tank. I don't know if you remember, we went to Purple Pet, and I brought home that 4-foot tank, and they were
they didn't think it was going to be as big as it was.
They were not the happiest people.
That goes to what I was saying, like bugs. If you keep bugs, you keep in a small thing, it's easy to sort of convince people that it's not going to take up much room. But yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Now we're at the level where it's like we've started it. That was the biggest thing, starting it. And then hopefully we're going to get some momentum going.
Yeah,
we've got plans for sort of the near future. About sort of expanding our collection and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to expand the collection, and hopefully we've started our breeding projects with the dwarf sand geckos. Which is
so
cool.
We're going to start talking now. We've talked about where we came from. Now we're going to kind of talk about what we're planning and where we're going, because there is a lot in the works, and there's a lot of stuff that we're trying to sort out behind the scenes, and it's challenging.
Yeah, like it's getting the room to do what we want to do, because obviously we live separately at the moment. We would like to have our own reptile space that we could both use, because at the moment even the reptiles at my house are scattered around.
Yeah, it's not like specifically.
Like some are in my little like man cave, some are in my bedroom. Yours are in like your
mine are all in this room that
office
we're in
type
right now.
area. So we're hoping to get like a reptile room sorted, be it currently at one of our houses, at a separate house, something like that.
Yeah, there's a few different options on where we're going to go with this. Getting our own place or splitting it into both our houses and sorting out a room in each house. Or eventually, like, kind of, I don't know if we've talked about the end goal, but we do have an end goal of where we want to get to, and that is eventually opening up a facility.
Yeah, because we want to start breeding stuff.
On a bigger scale.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily want to do the stuff... We sort of want to be a different kind of channel to some people. Like, we don't want to focus on one thing.
Yeah,
like, a lot of people do ball pythons, which is good. And
you can make money off of that.
And yeah, that's the thing. If you start getting high-end ball pythons that are worth thousands, you're going to start making money. And there are some morphs I like. I like the highway stuff. I've got a friend that does it. He has some highway stuff. I like the bamboo stuff, bumblebees. They're all cool. So we'd probably get a few.
Yeah, we want to create more of a,
diverse reptile hobby.
Yeah, it's going to be more of like a mini zoo.
Yeah.
In a building.
Your passion is hognoses, isn't it?
In terms of snakes, yeah, hognoses are like my favourite type of snake out there. And I'd love to breed them one day. That's a big issue right now, is our parents aren't too keen with snakes.
Yeah.
Which, most people, that's understandable. Most people, I think it's probably in the reptile world the most feared one. So that's why we don't have any snakes currently, and probably not for at least for the near future. At least in my house, there's no chance of convincing mum.
Because yours is different to mine. Your mum doesn't like snakes. My mum doesn't like mice.
Yeah, so it's...
So unless I find like a rough green snake or a smooth green snake that eats crickets, or if I find like a garter snake and then feed it on fish. But obviously there's a reason people switch garter snakes to mice, is because it's easier.
Of course, yeah. And
we could go like egg-eating snake, but then the ones I've seen, you need a constant supply of finch eggs. Not even quail eggs. You have to get finch eggs. So you'd have to go somewhere like, I don't know, like a zoo or something.
And just get the
or
eggs. Yeah,
someone that has finches and doesn't breed them. Or like just they lay eggs and they don't keep the eggs. We'd have to sort of get in contact with them.
Yeah, so...
I don't think an egg-eating snake is necessarily the easiest snake to keep.
No.
So you'd be going straight into a thing. So hognoses, you want hognoses. And
I do.
Like, my favourite is the super condor. So hopefully we'd want... Because we want to actually do breeding projects. We don't just want to buy the super condor. We'd want to get the condors, or het condors, and then breed condors, and then get those condors together to get the super condor, which is the patternless hognose. So we'd want to do that sort of thing. So that's I don't know what morphs you want to go into with that.
Yeah, see, I'm quite, like I said, like my reptile knowledge is learning as we're doing these videos. So I'm not too familiar with all the kind of ones that we're into, but I'm a fan of quite a few of the hognoses morphs, like the lavender.
Yeah.
And the pastels.
Pastel pink and stuff.
Stuff like that, and I know that it won't be probably for a little bit that I get until I get a hognose, but for the time being, like we plan on getting.
And they don't get that big. Like a female's like 3 foot. A male's is smaller. The same with my one that I want to get started with is samboas, which are the same sort of size. Females are going to get a bit bigger than males. Males are relatively small, so they'll stay in like a small tank, mostly under the substrate, but they will come out. So there's Kenyan samboas that I want to get into. There's like the rough scale samboas, and there's some pretty cool morphs coming out of them. You've obviously got the normal Kenyan sambo that's bright orange.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need a morph of that. But there are some cool like albinos. There's the axanthic black and white ones, and then a cool thing that I think is personally the sort of thing that I want to get into with samboas is paradoxing.
Yeah.
Where you get the morph, but then part of the normal colour comes through, or part of the a certain type of morph comes through. In other animals, it's random.
Yeah.
But in sambos, you can breed it. It's genetic.
Okay.
So you could get ones that have these spots of different pattern on them, and it would just look quite funky. The ones I've seen are cool. But they are sort of climbing in price, hognoses and sandbows.
Yeah, actually, some of the ones we've seen in the local pet shops, they're quite expensive.
Yeah, like a lot.
Especially if you're getting the
high end stuff. So
yeah.
we want to get into that. So snake breeding is something that we're quite passionate about, and then getting into the snakes that not necessarily everyone else is doing. And then in terms of lizards and stuff, we've got our dwarf sand geckos that we're doing.
We have been. That's our first one with breeding. It's the only one we've bred so far,
which is quite good because there's not a lot of captive bred stuff of them. A lot of it's wild caught. So we've got 7 babies at the moment, which we're trying to sell. We've got a few people interested, and then we've got 2 eggs left to hatch in our incubator. We do have an incubator video coming out. I don't know if it will come out by the time this video is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to beat this one. I think we've decided that this video is going to come out on a Wednesday. Did we decide?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. We're going to, at the moment, up until now, we've been doing our Friday video, which is like a featured video on our channel, which is whatever sort of project we're doing, or a care guide, or a setup that is useful for you guys if you're researching your own stuff. But we want to start expanding, so the podcast is coming. We haven't decided how often we're going to do it.
Yeah, we wanted to see how you guys reacted to kind of us just sitting down and talking to you guys, and giving you kind of like more information than you could get from any of the videos.
Yeah, because this is going to be 45 minutes, an hour long.
Yeah, it's going to be around that thing, and if you guys wanted it less or wanted it more, then feel free to just let us know down below.
So yeah, we were going to do it once a month as like a thing. We might do it every 2 weeks. Depends sort of what feedback we get from you guys.
Yeah.
If you think it's boring, then
just let us know. It's
boring. Like,
it is what it is. But yeah, so talking about where we're going, we do eventually want to open a facility, breed stuff from that facility, and have you guys come and
so that's a big thing for me. We wouldn't necessarily want to open a zoo.
No,
it would be like we call it a facility. Like it would have display tanks, and it would have tanks for breeding. And then what I like about it is the one-on-one interactions with people that would come. So you guys, if you wanted to come down, you would book an hour, 2 hours with us.
Yeah, we want to go off of the route of a generic pet store.
Yeah, because we want to actually educate people.
We want to make it more of an interactive experience where we have a one-on-one with a group of people, or you could come in just with you and a couple friends and book in a slot or something along those lines. We're not going to have it as a walk-in kind of place. It's going to be more of an experience that you can come
and that
see.
way you can decide what animals you want to see and what animals you want to spend more time with, and then what animals you want more in-depth sort of discussion about, and stuff like that.
And so that's kind of the general plan that we have right now in the next few years, hopefully. Just working the way towards that, but for the meantime, it's building with you guys, getting better videos out for you guys, improving our quality, improving how many videos we're releasing. So eventually, when we get to that point of wanting to proceed that, we've got you guys as like our support.
Yeah. So a lot of it is obviously pretty, I'd say, methodical. I wouldn't say necessarily scripted, but we plan what we do. Like
in our videos
we
now.
do this care guide.
Yeah.
We do the setups and stuff. We'd want to move towards like a vlog. So we've done vlogs on our Friday video before, where we visit stuff. We do a vlog about picking something up. But we want to do more like, because recently people have been asking for updates on different animals.
Yeah, and so what we're kind of planning is to give you guys a roundup video at, let's say, the end of the week, of all of the animals. So we kind of, whether it's changing the water of this person, so just little things to give you small updates on our animals, that doesn't create a whole video that you have to sit down and watch just to find out. Because we do give you updates, like we give you pictures and stuff on our Instagram, which we really appreciate the support on there right now.
Yeah,
it's doing really well.
The support on Instagram has been pretty crazy at the moment. Like it's grown a lot, and we're getting somewhere on there. Because I think people do like to see the updates on stuff. Because we're posting one to two times a day on Instagram, and you get to see stuff that you might not have seen on the YouTube channel for a while, because we're setting up certain tanks or certain breeding stuff is happening and we've got care guides to do. You might not see an animal for a couple months. It doesn't mean it's died, or we're not caring for it. It's on the Instagram, so you can follow it and keep updated with all the animals that hopefully you enjoy looking at.
Yeah, it's just more, we've got so many other things planned. That's why we want to create this video at the end of the week where we kind of, it's more just our day-to-day life of what we're doing. And this will give you kind of an insight on like projects that we're planning and stuff like that.
It'll be sort of similar to the podcast in terms of you get behind the scenes knowledge of us,
but more like,
but it's still going to be a 10 to 15 minute video that you get to watch and know all about the stuff that we're doing without getting like a fully scripted video. Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of things coming out, a lot of things we're trying to plan. With all the lockdown going on and all that, it's been difficult for us to do everything we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we're definitely trying to work out and make the best of the situation that we're in. And right now we are growing. We're close to the giveaway.
Yeah,
our first giveaway.
If you're watching this and you haven't entered in the giveaway, I think only 10 people have entered.
Yeah, so you've got a good chance.
Like, if you go down, scroll down a few videos, it will literally say prize and it will say giveaway, and you can win a prize.
Yeah.
And there's 10 people that entered, so at the moment, each person has a 10% chance of winning.
Yeah.
Like,
and this is something we want to continue doing. Like, it's only a smaller prize right now.
Yeah.
Eventually, when we grow, we do want to give more giveaways for you guys, just to give back as a way of saying thank you. So don't forget to enter that. And then, so it would just be updates on our day-to-day life. Like, we talk about them in the videos, we mention stuff, but you never really get to see, like, the amount of stuff we've set up for, like, our next bioactive.
Yeah.
We've been slowly getting things, getting these, getting that, and I think it would just be cool if you guys were updated a bit more on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we're coming close to the end of this podcast.
Yeah, we've been going a while. Like,
it's coming up to 42 minutes right now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we've been going for a little bit. So I think we are going to round up now.
Yeah. So I hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Obviously, it is number 1. We've got a sort of setup here that we're doing it at the moment.
Yeah.
We want to get more of like a professional setup with like a nice hardwood table, and like this microphone's really good, so we'll have that set up. And hopefully we've got a lot of topics planned.
Yeah, we have a few episodes of the podcast at least planned, which we will do, and then just see kind of how the feedback is, depending on how often we'll do these for you.
And if you guys watch it, you enjoy it, and then might get guests on it.
Yeah, that would be a cool thing, especially like once Corona is gone.
Yeah.
Because screw Corona. Once that is gone, then we could talk about, guests. And I feel like we have a few people in mind already that would be interesting.
Because we have some reptile friends, and then we've got a few connections with reptile people that we visit.
It'd be nice to have them on, whether it's physically here or virtually on the computer. Yep. It'd be something cool, but I think we are going to end it now, and we're going to round up this podcast. So we hope you have enjoyed.
Yeah, so I don't know when the next one's coming out, but
no, yeah, it's kind of
for this one, make sure you comment, because as I said at the beginning, there is a bet.
There is a wager
and
going.
I want to win the bet.
And we will discuss it a bit more later on, but there is a wager on how well.
So it's probably going to be a couple weeks after this.
Yeah,
like we want to see the first week, how you guys are responding to it. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this, because the podcast will be on this channel as well. It won't be a separate thing.
Yeah, we'll have its own playlist, and then we'll also look into releasing it somewhere else as well, like Spotify or something.
Yeah,
I need to look into a bit more on how you set up something along those lines. But
for now, if you did enjoy the Rippin Reptiles podcast from your boys at Predatory Exotics,
from us at Predatory Exotics, we hope you have enjoyed,
and we'll see you in the next one.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye, guys.
Bye.